watched this channel for a while, the focus of this channel, other than the other pieces, the knives, metal detecting, is usually going to be cameras. And I'm always on the lookout for small cameras. And I have sort of a cross-section or a selection here of small cameras. Some would very easily fall into the subcategory of action cameras. Others would fall into the subcategory of spy cameras. Others, who knows, sort of a hybrid. The thing about small cameras is you're always, with rare exceptions, going to be looking at a compromise solution. You're not going to get the quality you can get from a large camera. For instance, the 70D, when used correctly, which I don't always do, is always going to outperform the majority of small cameras. And of course the 80D, I've got a Lumix around here, which is a 4K. All of those should be better than small cameras. Just by the fact it's going to have a variety of settings, a variety of exposures, etc. They're just more full-featured cameras. But small cameras are what's best for me, because I do like to do outdoors. I like to do what I like to call low-key POV or vlogging. My picture doesn't appear that much in my types of vlogs, but I do like to show things, show where I am, and show the the surrounding circumstances. So here we've got 3 classes of small. Well, I've defined them as 3 classes of small cameras, and they sort of crossbreed. Here I've got a Hero 4 Black, which is the one of the kings of the action camera genre, 4K, and many alternatives to assist you in post-production, etc. So it is really one of the king of the action cameras. Here, these are also Hero cameras here. These are the Hero 4s as well, but the Hero 4 Sessions. These are also compromised cameras, 1080p cameras, 30 frames per second. They work great. Each one of these particular cameras I've got here have non-standard frames on them, metal. That's just one of my preferences, but they're not required. And these also have reasonably good high quality, very wide in its wide setting, so it's just, you really point and shoot, and if it's in your frame of vision, the Hero 4 Sessions will probably get it. So these are very good cameras. I like the Hero 4 Sessions, not because it's a lot smaller than the Hero 4. If I take off the backpack here and make this very similar, the volume is probably the same on these 2 cameras. One is square, but longer. So it makes up a percentage. So probably you got 0.80% of the same volume between the Hero 4 Sessions and the Hero 4 Black. You do have benefits of size and of shape, because it's easier to hold the Hero 4 Sessions, because it is a cube, and it's just easier to hold and use in a handheld way than the Hero 4. I would probably also just, if I was going to use this camera, I would probably unscrew it from its mount here. If I wanted to use it, and just sort of basically use it here. Use the little Luxabel frame mount as a handle to hold it. So that would work as well. So the thing is, what do you want to have? You want to have, I say clandestine, but I don't mean spy. There is no such thing as a spy camera, and there is no such thing as a camera that can't be used as a spy camera. These small cameras are relatively recent. Okay, we can assume that that some of the CIAs and etc. across the country, some of the clandestine organizations might have had these small cameras far ahead of them becoming popular in the whole frame of things. But these are not spy cameras, of course. These are action cameras. They're not even classified as this. This is a Polaroid Cube, which vaguely falls in the framework of the Hero 4 Sessions. It has a slightly different, I think it's 1440 maximum resolution. So So it's a little bit different in the way it works, but it's also a very good camera. I've used it on occasion. Now the other grade of cameras we got are sort of an amalgam of features of the action cameras and the other lower side spy cameras, quote unquote. But we've got here. This is the Drift Compass, recent camera. I've done a recent test for it. It's in one of my previous couple of videos. Works really good. It has quality similar to the 1080p cameras. It's going to be a big part of what I do because I just throw it on. I got a lanyard here, not the lanyard that came with it, but I just got a lanyard. I can put it on, throw it over my neck, and just have it with me all the time, or clip it on the pocket, or anywhere else that the clip will work on. This is a camera that's often used on drones. You know, it has a very good picture, so it's okay, and it's each one of these cameras have a little bit of issue with the volume of audio, so you have to be aware of that. This is another small camera. It's a very unique shape. I'll put the description below, but it's a very great to be handled. It probably is not any better than one of your cell phone, but the fact it is so perfectly shaped to be held means it's a very nice camera to have. I don't buy cameras and divide cameras on the basis of this one has a better picture, but if a similar camera has a form factor I like, that's what I prefer. So we'll just put that to the side. This is another. These are sort of the middle ground of cameras between the general action cameras and these cameras. Now this is these are directly called spy cameras. And I can understand it. These two are shaped like pens. One is 32 gig, one is 16 gig. This is a 32 gig here, I believe, is the card I'm currently using in this. And it looks a little bit like a garage remote control. So they do classify as spy cameras in the fact they don't look like cameras. But remember, they're not spy cameras unless you use them to invade other people's privacy. And if you're going to invade other people's privacy, you can get an old single lens reflex with film in it and invade their privacy. So it's all your morality, not the morality of the machine. So now these are difficult to handle. They tend to be pinhole type cameras, and they tend to be very active to movement. Of course, they have no stabilization, but neither do the Hero cameras. But you just got such a small profile that you're using here. You know, you just got, you click this and you hold it, and it's a camera. But every little jerky move you make would probably be reflected in the output. So it's something you got to be aware of. If you got a rock solid hand like a marksman, then you're probably not going to have an issue with it, but you could have an issue otherwise. So the thing is, when you decide to use a small camera, which is my preference mostly, unless I'm doing desktop work like this, when I'm using this 70D, then you've got to decide what you want. If you want picture quality, you're probably going to go upscale. If you want to be not clandestine but low-key vlogging and camera work, you're probably going to go down toward this side. Remember, sometimes volume suffers even when you go to these. Maybe not so much the Compass. It's a little bit better in that range. So all you got to do is decide what you want to do and what you need to do. As quality increases, then I would probably go for the Heroes. And if you really want quality, you might get out of this vein of cameras and just go to the Hero 4 Black, Hero 4 Silver, or even you get Hero 3, which is very similar, in fact, to the. In fact, it's almost identical in its performance to the Hero 4 Sessions. So the thing is, when you get a small camera, I'm just giving you a lot of information. So you just decide what you want. If you want to be subtle, with the idea that sometime audio might falter or might not be as good, you might go to this range. If you want to get the best of both worlds and sort of in the middle as much as possible, you're probably not going to get as good a picture as these, but your volume is going to be better and maybe as good as these. So that's all I've got to say about small cameras.